here, welcome to my channel. If you're brand new here, don't forget to hit the subscribe button down below and ring the bell for notifications so you'll know when I post videos like this one or when I go live. If you're returning, thank you so much for coming back. I love seeing you here in your comments down below. So today is the Patriotic Days month 7 block of the month from Pastry Quilts. As you can see, I have all of my blocks that we've done so far on the wall behind me. And today I'm going to do month 7, and there's been 2 blocks every month. We have 1 more month left after this. I can't believe how fast it's gone. That'll be month 8, and then month 9 we're going to put this all together. So we're getting close. I'm super excited. If you are interested in learning more about Pastry Quilts, I'll put the link to her shop down below. The owner over there, Sherry, it's a small quilt shop business, and I would love it if you could support her. She also has a very nice subscription box, quilting subscription box, that comes out every 6 weeks, and she gives you an original pattern and the latest fabric, usually from Moda Fabrics. So go ahead and check her out. All right, let's go ahead and get started on the first block. Okay, so the first block for this month is the Faceted Star block, and the first thing we're going to do is, well, I've got all my pieces laid out here. This is the center of our block, so I'm going to set this aside for now, and this is going to make some half square triangles, so I'm going to put those aside, and this is going to be part of our corner unit, so I'm going to set that aside. So the first thing I'm going to do is grab this section, or these pieces that make up 4 of the units in the block. They're kind of the center of the top and bottom row and on the sides as well. So the first thing we're going to want to do is we're going to want to add these these squares, to this center background square. So you're going to add 1 of each color on opposite corners first, and then after we attach those, we're going to trim those, flip them back, and then add the remainder of each color. So they're also going to be opposite corners, but you're going to have the 2 lighter ones on one end and the 2 darker ones at the other side. So just to show you what that looks like ahead of time, I've already made one. So this is what our unit is going to look like. So that's what we're aiming for right there. So I'm going to go ahead and get started on that. You can draw a line corner to corner on the back of each of these squares if you like. Or I've got the diagonal seam tape on my machine, so I just I'm going to line it up under my needle and make sure that the opposite point is right on that line, that center line of the tape. I'll be good to go, so I don't have to draw a line on all of those. So you're going to be making 4 of these units all together. 1 for each side of this block. So I've got these 2 attached already, so 1 navy and 1 of the sky blue. So I'm going to trim those a 1/4 inch away towards the outside from where I sewed the first line, or sewed the line. And then we're going to give those a press and add the other 2 pieces. Now, if I was doing all 4 pieces at the same time, which I would be if I was not doing this on camera, I would probably chain piece and do all the dark blues on one side and then all the sky blues, and then press them all. I think you guys know what I mean. Make it go a little bit faster. I would chain piece all of them. I'm going to grab my iron, give that guy a press. All right, and now we're going to sew them on the opposite corners. Again, so I'm going to add the blue, the dark blue to this corner and the opposite corner of the sky blue. So I'll have 2 sky blues next to each other and 2 navies next to each other. So we're essentially making a square and a square, but with two different colors. Okay, so that's what that looks like. So I'm going to trim those, again, 1/4 inch away from the sewn line, and then press those. And that's an Acorn Easy Press Precision Piecing Pen. I get that question for every video, so I'm just going to say it from now on. It contains a starch alternative concentrate that just helps get your blocks nice and flat. So I really like to quilt with it. I found that my piecing ends up a lot more precise with it. Especially these kind of tricky blocks, these square into squares. Before I used that, I found them, I had a hard time getting them to come out the right size, and now they come out a little bit better. So okay, so that's those, and you're gonna make 4 just like that. So I've got all 4 of those units ready to go. So I'm gonna set those aside. There's my center unit. I'm gonna set that aside. So the next thing we're gonna do is we're going to make our corner units. And to make our corner units, the first thing we're gonna need to do is make some half square triangles. So you're going to take your larger of what's left of the navy and the background squares, lay them together and draw a line corner to corner. This one I will draw because anytime you make 2 half square triangles at a time, I feel like they're more precise if I draw the line rather than just kind of guess at it. Okay, and then I'm going to sew 1/4 inch on either side of that line. And you'll have 2 sets of these to make 4 half square triangles. Okay, I'm going to cut that apart right on the line that I drew. And we're going to press these and trim these down to the size that is required in the pattern, because these are a little bit oversized. Okay, I'm going to finger press them, use my magic juice, and then press them with my iron. Whoop, throwing stuff around. Alright, actually put these things away because I'm done with those for now. Grab my iron. Now when I trim down half square triangles, there's multiple ways you can do it. There's block lock rulers, clearly perfect slotted trimmers, which I do like. Or you can just use a regular old ruler. And for all my videos, I just use a regular ruler in case someone out there doesn't have one of those specialty rulers. I want you to know how to do it with a regular ruler, but by all means, feel free to use whatever you have that works best. So if you've got one of those other rulers and you love it, go for it. Okay, so there is a black, and you can't see that, I don't think, in the camera, but a black diagonal line on the ruler here, and I'm going to lay that right on the seam that I sewed and trim these down. And you need 4 of these half square triangles all together, or 2 pairs. Turn that around. Okay, so there's my half square triangles. Now I'm going to set those aside for a minute, and I'm going to grab the other part of this unit that we have to build. So grab your rectangular piece, and you should have some more of the smaller print squares. And I'm going to lay this, let me check my directions really closely again. Yep, I'm going to lay it just like this on the right hand side of the rectangle. And we're going to sew from the upper right to the middle left, dyeing the line across that print. And you'll need 4 of these. I'm going to trim that a 1/4 inch back from where I sewed it. Give this a press. Should look something like that. Give it a little press over here with my iron. Okay, so you should have some 4 units that look like this. Just like that. Now, what we are aiming for is a corner unit that looks something like this. So we're going to take these pieces, made 2 of them ahead of time. Ooh, scooch that up so you can see it. So I made 2 of those ahead of time. So what we're going to do to make these is we are going to add our 2 last solid squares right above that angle that you just sewed. And then we're going to add our half square triangles, and the white should touch the white. So just like that. The white should touch the white and the blue to the outside. So we're going to sew these 2 pieces together first, give those a press, and then sew them to our rectangular piece. And you could chain piece these to save a little bit of time. Okay, now I'm going to press it towards the darker piece, the blue. And then we're going to add these new rectangles that we made to this rectangle right here. We're going to sew those together. Give this other one a press. And again, you'll need 4 of these units. These make up our corners of this block. Okay, there we go. Just going to open this up and finger press it. I'm pressing towards the white because there are less seams that direction. So I think it's going to lay down nicer that way. I'm going to give these a press, and then we can lay out this block and see how this is all going to go together. Because now we have all of the units made for this block. Giving this last one a press. Okay, there we go. All right, so I'm gonna turn these so they're going the correct direction to make this block. This is your centerpiece, your solid. And then these units that we sewed earlier, you're going to make sure that the sky blue touches the blue in the center. It's pretty. Okay, so just like that, and we have a block. Oh, gorgeous. Oh, you guys know how I am with the blues. I love this. Okay, so we just have to sew these rows together and we'll be done with this block already. Okay, there's the first row. Make sure that sky blue is touching your sky blue in the center. So you get that star. All right, now all we have to do is sew the rows together. And then put the bottom one on here. Okay, and here is the faceted star block. Of course, I need to press it yet, but that is the first block of month 7. So I'm going to take a little break and come back, and then we'll do block 2. Okay, so now I'm going to make the 4-corner star block, which is the second block for month 7. So the first thing we're going to do is start with our center unit, and we're going to add just like we did in the last block for the center, we're going to add a background square to each corner. This time it make a square and a square, but this time all 4 corners are going to be the background instead of 2 different colors. So that makes it a little bit easier. So we're going to go ahead and do that. So I'm just going to add 2 at a time, opposite corners, trim them, press them, and then the last 2. Alright, I'm going to cut those away, 1/4 inch away from the sewn line. And then give those a press. And then I can add the squares to the opposite corners after I give this a press. There. Okay. Now I'm going to go ahead and add these to the opposite piece sides, and we'll have our square and a square block. So it should look something like that right now. I'm going to trim these away, press it, and then we'll have our center. Okay. Give this guy a press. And there's the center of our block. So I'm going to set that aside. And the next thing we're going to make is one of the units that's going to go in the middle of our rows. And it's going to look like this. So that's also very similar to the last block we did. The last one we put a color on down here and a color up here. This time we're only going to put it on one side. So we're going to make 4 units like this. So I'm going to grab my white large background squares, and I'm going to add 1 to this corner and 1 to that corner. Set that aside for now. So a lot of similar techniques in this block as the first block. I'm going to trim this away 1/4 inch. Press that, and then I'm going to add the other side. Just like that. Now, if you want to draw lines corner to corner, you can. That'll work. I've got the seam guide tape on my machine, so I don't need to. Okay, I'm going to trim that again 1/4 inch from where I sewed. Give that a press. And you'll have 4 units like this. One of that center unit that we did first, and then 4 of these units. And now we're going to make our stars for the corners of this block. Why it's named the 4-corner star block. So I'm going to put that aside. So what we're going to make for each corner is these cute little stars right here. So they're kind of small stars. I actually really like making small star blocks. I think they're a lot of fun. They're not hard. There's just a lot more steps. So the first thing you're going to want to do is grab your fabric. And let me see if I can find it. This is going to be the center. So this light blue. The star points are going to be made of your small navy blue star, and then the star legs is going to be with this white rectangle. So we're going to add these to this, and then your white small squares are going to be the corners of this block. So first thing we're going to do is we are going to add, we're going to make flying geese. So there's 4 of these around making the corners, so you're going to have a whole lot of flying geese. We're going to have 16 flying geese to make, so we're going to sew on 32 squares. So this is going to take a minute, and that's okay. So I would recommend chain piecing all of these because it'll go a lot quicker if you chain piece rather than doing 1 unit at a time. So I'm going to sew it corner to corner. Cut this a 1/4 inch away. I'm just showing you one. I'll let you guys do these all on your own, but you're going to do the same thing for all 16 of the flying geese. I'm going to press that. So I would do all the one side first, press them all, and then come back and do the other side. So I've done one. I'm going to add this to the other side. Again, corner to corner. If you feel more comfortable drawing the line to get them straighter, go right ahead and do that. These are little bitty pieces, so it might be easier to get them more precise if you do that. Okay, I'm going to press this guy. And I've got a little bitty flying geese. Isn't that cute? Little flying geese unit. So this block is going to go together like that and like that. Now you're going to have a flying geese for each side too. Actually, these are just the sides. So what we need to do is take one of the flying geese units that we made, or take 2 of them actually per block, and add your little white squares to the flying geese for the top and the bottom row. So I'm going to go ahead and do that first. And again, I would probably chain piece these for your entire set of stars, just to make it go a little bit quicker. There are quite a few. Okay. I'm going to press that. So I'm pressing that out away from, even though I typically press towards the dark, I'm pressing it out away because it's going to be flatter that way. And I'm going to press this center in once we put that together. So I've got that row done. And here's my other one. And now I'm going to sew these together and then press in like I was saying. So this will nest really nicely. And again, I'm just showing you one star. You can do the others on your own, but I would definitely chain piece every aspect of the star just because it will definitely cut down on your time because there's a lot of pieces. Okay. All right, let's give that guy a press. And then we can put the star together. Okay, and now I'm going to put these rows, or attach these rows, and that will make our star. Looking cute. I love these little bitty stars. Now I do recommend sewing your star together with this piece on the top so you can see where your flying geese comes together, so you don't sew through on top of that point, so you still have your points. Oops. So this is how I laid it when I went through my machine. I put this piece down and I laid this on top so that when I sewed, I could see right where those fabrics cross, or the threads on the flying geese cross, so I didn't cut off my point. So I recommend doing that. So I'm going to put that right on top like that and sew it that way so I can see that point. I find if I do it the other way, I find myself ripping more to get the points correct. So that seems to help if you can see that little X where your threads cross. Less time with Jack and more time sewing is always what I'm looking for. Okay, so there's the star. I'm gonna press, and with these, all of these, I press them open the last two seams because they get really bulky and they don't want to lay down as nice. So I'm gonna go ahead and use my magic juice on the front first. When I press open, I press it one way first and then go back and press it open. They seem to lay down a bit better that way. I don't know why. I can't explain it. But they seem to want to press open a little bit easier if I press to one side first and then go back and press it open. So that's what I'm going to do. And now I'm going to open them up in the back. Give them a press. It's a little more work to press open, takes a little longer to press, but I think it'll be worth it because I think these blocks will lay a lot flatter. That's a pretty flat block right now, so I'm happy with that. Okay, so now that we've sewn all of those, we can lay this block out. We grab all the other pieces here. So that's going to come together like that. And there's the center. Make sure that the color is touching the center block because that's going to make that center star appear just like that. Very nice. And then our last two stars. Ooh, this is a really pretty block. Okay. All right, now let's sew this together by row. Now the last one, I don't know what I was thinking, but I forgot to press in between, or press the rows before I put the whole thing together, and I realized that after I started pressing the entire block. So make sure you're pressing your rows because it took a little work to get that block to come out flat because I forgot to do that. looks like these ones are wanting to go in, so I'm going to press that in. I'll do the same thing with this one. Okay, now the center. So since I pressed those two, or finger press them in, I still need to press them. I'm going to finger press the middle row out. And again, same trick as what we did with the stars. I'm going to sew the center where I can see where those threads cross on that square and a square, so I leave the point. Okay, there we go. All right, now I'm just gonna give them a press and we can sew the rows together. Press the middle out. And again, this row in. Okay. Put these back where they were. Oh, turn that around. All right, now I can sew that block together. And we're almost done. Now after this one, we have one more month of blocks, so 2 more blocks to sew. And then the finishing. So we are getting there. I'm really loving these blocks and can't wait to see how they're going to go together. Oh, very pretty. All right, there we go. There's our four corner star block. I almost called it the wrong thing. Really nice. I'm really excited about this. I cannot wait till we get all this done, because we're going to have this done just in time for the start of this summer's patriotic holidays. Thank you so much for sewing along with me today. I've got the newest stars right here on the wall behind me. They came out really, really well, and I'm just loving this wall of stars. You all know I'm a sucker for a star block. So, and today's stars were both blue, so yeah, they were right up my alley. So anyway, thank you for sewing along, and I will see you again for next month, which will be our last month of block sewing. Yay! And then we get to see what the finishing instructions are the next month after that and put this thing all together. All right, guys, take care. Have a wonderful month, and I will see you all really soon. Bye!